To be honest, everyone in the team actually, we think we're gonna beat them tomorrow.
Okay.
We're very confident in our game, and we kind of I wouldn't say we don't care what people think, but we're here to prove them wrong. And also, I'm not just saying this because I'm delusional and I think we can win everything, but like we have some really good string records for this MSI, for example. We beat some teams that we consider better than G2. So that's why I'm saying like I think we're favorites tomorrow. Like FlyQuest, for example, was a thing that actually helped us grow a lot. And I think that's one of the reasons we won LTA is because we had this chance to scream some better teams than us.
I'm joined with Tutsz before MSI play-ins start. First, I want to say congratulations for making international tournament. Uh,
Thank you.
you guys weren't exactly the favorites coming in, but you specifically, you kept playing extremely well in the mid lane and won your second title. I guess to the international North American um, audience that don't really know who you are, could you give like a brief
Hmm.
description of?
Yeah. Okay. So my in-game name is Tutsz. I'm a 22-year-old player. I've been playing in the LTA for 5 years. I won my rookie split back in CBLOL in 2020. Um, and of course that year we didn't have MSI. So right now is I won my second title. It's gonna be my first international. And I'm very excited to be here. As a player, I'm kind of I like to think of myself as a very creative player, a very fast player. So I like to, I don't like just farming and sitting down and just waiting for the game to happen. I kind of like to do a lot of things, be very proactive. So I guess that's what you can expect from me from at MSI.
Yeah, you play a lot of assassins. You play the Akali. You'll play the
Yeah.
LeBlanc, which is very exciting. You also have Thinkard as your coach, who we
Yes.
we love here in North America. You won your first plate with Seus, who's now on Shopify, which is
Yeah.
my team.
Great
Uh,
player.
yeah. So, what is your expectation coming into this MSI? Pretty
Mm.
much first time you're in a national tournament. You're also like quite young, maybe not in CBLOL years, but in terms of like
Yeah.
actual
Yeah.
age.
Well, how can I say this? I'm very excited to play. I think Um, I've had some experiences internationally, like some boot camps, some scrims, even like from the LTA North teams. They like FlyQuest, for example, was a team that actually helped us grow a lot. And I think that's one of the reasons we won LTA is because we had this chance to scrim some better teams than us. So I'm very excited to be here. I think we have a great shot at doing very well at this tournament. I think Finkard is an amazing coach. I think our entire roster is very explosive. We have insane comebacks. If you guys watch the LTA games, like we come back from games there, you feel like are completely lost, but we find a way out. So we're a very resilient team, and I'm very excited to be here, basically.
Is there any like specific mid laner you want to face against?
I actually want to verse the LPL mid laners the most. I think Shanks and Knight. I think they're both I think there are players that play kind of fast and they play really well as like with their team. So I think that's something I'm very excited to look forward to. And of course, Chovy and Faker are also great players, and I wanna especially see them in lane. But I feel like the LPL style is one that I'm kind of really curious to see how it feels to play against them in game.
You're going to be playing against G2, and
Yes.
ThinkGuard is part of that NRG team that defeated G2 in Worlds 2 years ago.
Mhm.
Is there any like obviously you guys are heavy underdogs. People think G2 are much better, um, but is there any like feeling like, oh, he did it once, he can do it again, like let's do it again?
I mean, of course, for the international fans, we're gonna be underdogs. That's to be expected. But to be honest, everyone in the team actually, we think we're gonna beat them tomorrow.
Okay.
We're very confident in our game, and we kind of, I wouldn't say we don't care what people think, but we're here to prove them wrong. So having Finn card, of course, is a bit of a trump card because we know he's very good internationally. I specifically asked Furia to bring him because I've always like kind of seen his work and seen what he's able to do. And like I watched some of his like YouTube videos and some of the things he thinks, and I think very alike. So he was someone I really wanted to bring, and we were able to. So I think playing against you two now is a bit of a lucky charm for us as well, because of course he beat them before, and we can do it again. So I'm very confident in the game tomorrow.
How is working with ThinkCard? He's like
Mhm.
well loved in North America, and he's like a very good coach, obviously. But
Yeah.
how does he differ to like the different Brazilian coaches that you've had?
Well, for me, Finkard is he's a really good coach because he really focuses on long term. And I don't just say it because like it's a cliche and nice thing to say, but like week by week, he doesn't really care about like the record we went. Like he doesn't care if he won both games, if he lost both games in the BO1s or in the BO3s. But what he really thinks is, by the last week of the split, are we gonna be a good team or not? Are we gonna be in the same page? Do we have good macro plans? Do we have a good systems to work upon? And that's what really is different for me from other coaches, is he really focuses on long term. And of course, I think his drafting is very good, so I think we were able to get a lot of advantages in draft because he's always like one step ahead, I feel like. So yeah, that's why I think he's a great coach.
CBLOL this year went through a lot of changes, as well as the North America. I guess LTA South Seoul
Yeah.
has gone through a lot of changes, and when NA came to play against Brazil, obviously it went NA's way, and people were really down on Brazil this year.
Hmm.
Um, and to like have to bounce back from that split, you didn't even make it to the top four. To bounce back, to actually make it to
Yeah.
the finals, no one thought you were going to win. You beat Pain, and now you're here. That takes a lot of resilience,
Yeah.
especially with a lot of like outside noise saying like, "Oh, you can't do it, you can't do it, you can't do it." Um, how Where do you get that resilience from to just like keep playing? You even mentioned how like you think you're favorites tomorrow to be. You think you're going to beat G2 tomorrow. So like, where do you get
Yeah.
that confidence?
Well, I think Brazilians are kind of like this as well. We kind of don't like giving up. We kind of feel like we're very resilient, basically. And I think where it comes from is from the everyday practice. Of course, we had a bad result on split one, but on scrims we're actually doing pretty well. We actually had an insane record against Spain with the first split we lost. We were like 20-2 versus them, but on stage we're choking a bit. We're still a young roster, and that's something also to think about tomorrow. We really need to play our game. We really need to be confident. But I think when we are comfortable, when we can play our game, we are actually like a really good team. And also, I'm not just saying this because I'm delusional and I think we can win everything, but like we have some really good screen records for this MXI, for example. We beat some things that we consider better than G2. So that's why I'm saying like I think we are favorites tomorrow, is because I really trust that our group is a good group and we are able to beat some good teams. I think we have the capability of doing a really good run this year.
Did you
And it comes
always?
from all the sorry,
No,
and
go
it
ahead.
comes from the like daily thing I talked about with ThinkCard as well, right? If we won't work long term, we have good systems, we keep improving, eventually we're gonna catch up, right? So that's what it is for me.
Did you always have a belief that you were going to win with Furia? Because it seemed like for the longest time, if you're, I mean, you've been on there like you're not the longest standing Furia player, but you've been there for a while now,
Yeah,
and
2 years.
it seems like if you're not on Pain or Loud for the longest time, you just don't win.
Hmm.
So like when you joined the Furia project, was that like a long term thing that you knew that you would end up winning with them?
Yeah, well, I joined Furia from Academy actually. I was in a bit of a rough time of my career, and they actually reached out to me and they showed me their idea of what the next few years were gonna look like, and basically they were gonna like this was like they were doing a rookie year split. We had a lot of rookies in our team, and me and Ayu. Basically, Ayu was a rookie as well, but I kind of trusted that Ayu was gonna be an insane player because I already knew him from solo queue and summing houses we played. So I kind of trusted that eventually we were gonna have a good roster where me and Ayu could thrive, and maybe some other players as well. But ended up just being me and Ayu. And I mean, of course, it was hard to tell whether we were going to be champions or not, but I always felt like we would have a shot. And this year, where we managed to get Gigo and Tatu, which were like basically Tatu was like the next insane player from Academy, and Gigo has always been a standout top laner for us, like minimum top three every split. So, and as well with Jojo, which is a very experienced support, he already won a few times. And I mean, it was gonna be like a good roster. We knew we would have a clear chance of winning. So from the start of the split, we always focused that we would be able to win. Basically, we always trusted this more than the other splits because we felt like we had an insane roster and an insane opportunity to beat like the best teams in Brazil.
All right. My last question is: do you have any like funny stories of like culture shock where like with ThinkCard, like he comes in, he's like, oh, what is this? Like trying out like Pojikeju or like just something that he's never tried before. Have you gotten him to try like farofa
Oh
or like
yeah,
some certain things
there's
like
a bit
that?
of a funny one. I think, like for example, you guys probably know we have Brazilian barbecue. We call it churrasco. We went there, and the waiters go around with skewers of meat, and you can kind of choose your cut, and then like what is all you can eat, and you can like pick pretty much anything. And then he comes like with chicken hearts, because which is something we eat in Brazil, and he says like, "Oh yeah, that sounds kind of evil, that sounds like something I would definitely not do." And then yeah, and we're kind of like, yeah, but it's super normal here, So that's kind of the most culture shock we had. But I think the cultures are not that different, to be honest.
All right. No, thank you for that, and good luck. I hope we see your Akali, your Blanc, your Zed, whatever assassins you want. It's always exciting to watch you in the mid lane.
Yeah, I hope I can get to play them as well.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for the interview. Obrigado. Chicken heart? Really? I don't know, man. I feel like there's no reason to be. I don't consider that culture shock, man. I would do the same. I thought like standing in lines or something. I actually have an interview with him tomorrow. So after they finish the games, I have an interview with Thinkard. So I'm gonna ask him about what he thought about the chicken heart and if he had other um culture shock. For me, one of the biggest ones was just how they stand in lines, but that's for a different interview. I'm surprised how confident they're coming in. If you saw, Thinkard had an interview with NA Min where he was saying like, I think it's like a lot closer than people think. We're not as bad as people think we are. So they're confident. Apparently, they've scrimmed teams better than G2, and they've done better. I'm assuming they just mean FlyQuest. Like he didn't say Eastern teams, and he already said that they're scrimming FlyQuest. So I'm just assuming it's FlyQuest. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm excited for this MSI. It's about to start in like 24 hours. So um yeah, I'll be posting as many interviews as possible, and hopefully you guys enjoy.